Ah, look at you. Beautiful chaos in motion. Welcome, heartbreak in human form. Welcome, walking controversy. Welcome to the show they can't stop talking about, even when you're not even in the damn room. You didn't ask for this spotlight. You didn't beg for attention. You just existed, loudly, unapologetically, and suddenly every insecure soul with Wi-Fi and repressed trauma decided you were their personal apocalypse. They're losing sleep over you. You're not even talking, and they're already twisting your silence into prophecy. You post a picture, and it spreads like wildfire through the phones of people who swore they don't even look your way. Your name comes up, and jaws tighten, eyes roll. Suddenly everyone's a detective, everyone's a victim, everyone's got a story about you. And for what? Because you had the audacity to breathe without asking for permission, because you stopped shrinking yourself to fit their fragile realities, because you left the damn group chat mentally a long time ago, and they still think they own real estate in your head. Meanwhile, you're out here building empires in silence. They don't hate you. Not really. They hate the mirror you hold up to their mediocrity. You are a walking what if they'll never have the balls to chase. You are proof that you can crawl out of hell, still burning, still bleeding, and still laugh louder than the world ever wanted to hear. They're obsessed because you remind them they're still stuck. They're scared of you, not because you're dangerous, but because you're free. And nothing threatens the powerless more than someone who doesn't need approval to exist. You've got them talking like you're a damn myth, like you're not flesh and blood, like you're some kind of glitch in their system of control. And in a way, you are. Because every time you show up, every time you win, every time you smile after all the shit they threw at you, you destroy their illusions of safety. You make people uncomfortable, not because you're wrong, but because you're real. They gossip in circles because they can't confront themselves. They send subliminals, cryptic posts, whispered warnings, but they don't say your name, because saying your name would mean acknowledging your power. And they'd rather choke on their envy than admit they're watching your every move. They stalk your life like it's Netflix. They screenshot your existence like it's evidence. They replay your glow-up like it's a crime in progress. They turn your wins into conspiracies, your losses into memes, your silence into offense. They don't want to know how you did it. They want to know why they couldn't. And deep down, you know this. That's why you keep walking like your spine is made of vengeance. That's why you laugh like the world owes you nothing, because it doesn't. And yet, here you are, standing tall with no blueprint, no privilege, just nerve and nightmares, and a track record of surviving shit that would have folded them 10 times over. You don't owe them a damn explanation. Let them guess. Let them spiral. Let them fill in the blanks with their projections while you keep rewriting your future in permanent ink. Let them lose sleep. Because while they're lying awake trying to dissect your every breath, you're out here building a reality they couldn't dream of without sedatives. You walk in rooms like war just entered. You speak and it echoes like prophecy. You exist and the air shifts. And that kind of presence, that kind of gravity, it's not taught. It's earned through scars, through silence, through seasons of being the villain in everyone's story just because you chose yourself. You didn't break them. You just reminded them that they were already broken. You're the kind of soul people try to replicate and fail. Because you're not a trend. You're a trauma response wrapped in art. You're the result of too many betrayals, too many nights crying alone, too many times being underestimated, and you made all of that look good. No wonder they can't sleep. You are the unfinished sentence in their mind, the plot twist they didn't see coming, the karma they prayed would never show up wearing lipstick and confidence. You are the embodiment of what they couldn't kill, and you keep rising, keep glowing, keep living like every wound was just another color in your paint set. Let them whisper, let them obsess, let them try to decode a language you were born fluent in. Because you're not even in competition, you are the standard. And they're gonna keep asking the same panicked question in every secret conversation, in every group chat they think you'll never see. Who the fuck is this? And why the hell won't you break? They tried to box you in, categorize you, give you a name that made them feel safe. Too much, too loud, too crazy, too full of yourself. Because calling you powerful would expose the parts of them that feel weak in your presence. Every time you walk by, they feel that knot in their stomach. Not fear, not hate, recognition. They see in you everything they buried, every dream they gave up on, every version of themselves they ghosted. You remind them of who they were before the world beat the fight out of them. And that's why they can't shut up about you. Because you're not supposed to still be standing. You weren't supposed to walk away from that betrayal with your head held high. You weren't supposed to glow up after they broke you down. You weren't supposed to get your power back. And you damn sure weren't supposed to own it. But you did. Quietly, violently, elegantly, without their permission. You're the reason they check who watched their story. You're the reason they refresh your page at 3 a.m. like it's gospel. You're the reason they pretend to not care while keeping a mental log of everything you wear, everything you post, everything you achieve. You've become their religion and their curse. You keep winning in ways they can't predict. You keep smiling through storms they thought would finish you. You keep doing the one thing they fear most, existing without them. And it eats them alive because in their world, you were never meant to escape the role they cast you in. But you didn't just escape. You rewrote the whole damn script. Now they're studying you like a case file, trying to reverse engineer your mindset. But they'll never get it, because they didn't feel your breakdowns in real time. They didn't watch the walls close in. They didn't scream into pillows until their throat burned. They didn't hold themselves together when it would have been easier to just disappear. They didn't carry what you carried, and that's why they can't understand how you're still breathing, still creating, still walking into rooms like you belong there, even when every voice in your past said otherwise. They think your confidence is cockiness. It's not. It's armor, and you earned every piece of it. You're not cold, you're forged. Every scar on your soul is a story they'll never be brave enough to read. You've seen the worst of people and you didn't become like them. You became wiser. You didn't lose your heart. You just stopped handing it to cowards. And now your energy is so expensive, it bankrupts anyone who tries to get close with cheap intentions. You've become the villain in stories they tell to protect their egos. But deep down, even they know you were never the threat. You were the awakening. The reminder that silence doesn't mean submission. That stillness doesn't mean defeat. That not reacting doesn't mean you didn't notice. It means you outgrew the need to clap back. You evolved. They stayed stagnant. You chose growth over gossip, healing over chaos, and that quiet power, that unnerves people. It's easy to fight someone loud and sloppy. It's terrifying to face someone who doesn't need to explain themselves. Someone who just moves different. You move like your pain taught you discipline, like your trauma built you a throne. And they can't handle that. They want to know why you're so at peace. They want to know who you're becoming. They want to know how you're doing it. And they'll never admit it, but they're watching for instructions, hoping to find a blueprint in the life they tried to sabotage. You turned every insult into intention, every L into fuel, every rejection into redirection. And the crazy part is, you're just getting started. You're just getting warmed up, and it shows in everything. The way you walk into a space like gravity follows you. The way your silence hits louder than their loudest outbursts. The way your presence carries weight, even when you're not saying a damn word. You're not trending, you're timeless. And that's a threat to people who need attention, like oxygen. They're used to loud, messy, predictable. You showed up surgical, disciplined, lethal in your peace. You stopped entertaining clowns, and suddenly the whole circus felt offended. You moved in alignment and made their chaos look childish. You chose purpose over pettiness, and that silence cut deeper than any drag they could have posted, because you don't react, you respond, and only when it's worth your time. That's what keeps them up. Not your success, not your confidence, not even your glow. It's your composure. They're used to people falling apart when they apply pressure. You leveled up. They poked and prodded, expected you to lash out, to beg, to explain, to fold. But you just stood there, unbothered, unreadable, unavailable. And that kind of peace, that kind of I don't owe you anything energy, it burns people who only feel powerful when they're feeding on drama. You don't feed anymore. You fasted on the validation, detoxed from the codependency, went completely cold turkey on people who only showed up to drain you. And in doing that, you became untouchable. You're no longer accessible to the version of you they thought they could manipulate, the one that over-explained, the one that tried to prove their worth, the one that apologized for having boundaries. That version is gone, buried in the ruins of every broken expectation they tried to trap you in. What's left is pure, high voltage, no hand-holding, earned confidence, the kind that doesn't flinch when misunderstood. Because let's be real, you've been misunderstood your whole life. Too deep for shallow rooms, too intense for surface-level friendships, too bold for the weak-hearted. You were never meant to blend in with people who fear their own potential. That's why they attack yours. You're a constant reminder that settling is a choice, and they made it. You didn't, and when you didn't, they called you arrogant, extra, difficult, aggressive, fake, cold. Too much. All labels created by people who were never strong enough to carry what you carry on a regular Tuesday. You're too real for their curated narratives, too raw for their watered-down identities, too free for their mental prisons. You show up like a glitch in the simulation. Proof that authenticity can't be algorithm-ed. And when you walk into a room, their whole energy shifts, not because you said something, but because you remind them they've settled. You're not a person to them. You're a damn reckoning. You're the proof that healing doesn't look like silence, it looks like audacity. The audacity to shine, to rise, to not explain yourself while they pick you apart, like analysts with nothing better to do. The audacity to live like you're done negotiating your worth with people who wouldn't know value if it broke their heart in slow motion. And they hate that you don't even flinch when they throw shade anymore. You used to react, used to question yourself, spiral into overthinking, and that gave them a hit, a little rush of control. But the version of you that exists today, doesn't even register the noise. You don't defend your name in rooms you don't respect. You don't lower your frequency just to make cowards feel taller. You move like someone who's been through too much to still be playing survival games with people who've never been in a real war. You don't chase closure. You leave doors burning behind you and keep walking. You don't ask for clarity. You read the energy and bounce like your piece is on a timer. And it is, because you've got things to build, not circles to run in. They can't reach you anymore. And that's what's eating them alive. You outgrew the loop. You used to be part of that same game, that same rotating drama cycle where everybody plays victim, nobody grows, and everybody swears they're the realest one in the room while lying through their curated captions. But you snapped out. You chose discomfort over fake love, growth over gossip, self-respect over access. You didn't just heal. You upgraded, and your upgrades didn't come with applause. They came with silence, isolation, loneliness. You leveled up in dark rooms with your chest cracked open, rebuilding your sense of self with no cheerleaders in sight. And that's why your presence hits different. That's why your energy doesn't beg to be liked. It just is. They're watching from behind fake pages, fake smiles, fake lives, trying to figure out how someone who had less is doing more. How someone they wrote off is now being written into conversations they'll never be invited to. How someone they tried to embarrass is becoming unreachable. It's not that they don't like you. It's that your existence exposes them. Every step you take toward your higher self is a mirror they can't run from. And when they look into it, all they see is stagnation. That's not your fault. But your presence reminds them of it anyway. You became everything they mocked, everything they doubted, everything they told themselves wasn't possible. You became it and kept going. You didn't announce it. You didn't try to prove it. You just started living it, like the apology was already expired. And they're stuck in analysis mode, screenshotting your growth, replaying your wins like surveillance footage, reading your captions like sermons, looking for signs, proof, evidence that you're about to fall, and still not finding any. Because you don't crash like them, you transform. You take the hits, the betrayal, the whispers, and you alchemize them into momentum. You fall and land sharper. You hurt and get quieter. You get doubted and move smarter. And somehow every time you disappear for a while, you come back with more power, more clarity, more silence that speaks louder than their entire existence. They thought they were the storm, until you showed them what happens when one survives it, and they swear you changed, like it's some accusation, like the whole point wasn't to change, like the goal wasn't to evolve past the version of you who tolerated their weak-ass energy and watered-down loyalty. They call it switching up, but you call it growing up. You call it waking up to your own damn worth and realizing that peace tastes better than approval ever did. You outgrew their chaos, and now you make distance look like a luxury. They're trying to find the version of you they used to manipulate. But that version doesn't even have a forwarding address. You buried it in all the nights you cried, alone, in all the fake friendships you outgrew, in all the times you held back your fire just to be liked by people who couldn't even handle your pilot light. You're not angry, you're finished. You stopped explaining your worth to people who needed a receipt for everything you brought to the table. You stopped shrinking your voice to make room for egos that crack under pressure. You stopped overthinking your existence and started treating your energy like currency. Because it is, and they can't afford you anymore, not even close. They don't like your confidence because it wasn't gifted. It was built. Brick by brick, trauma by trauma, L after L. You didn't wake up like this. You clawed your way into this version of yourself with your bare hands. They don't know the nights you sat with your own madness, the mornings you faked a smile just to keep moving, the moments you questioned if you were even gonna make it, and still got up and chose to keep becoming. That kind of self-made resilience, it rattles people who are hoping you'd stay broken long enough for them to win the race. You're not even running the same race. You're building the stadium. You went from being underestimated to being studied. Every move you make is under review like it's a damn thesis. Your glow makes people uncomfortable because it wasn't handed to you. It came from surviving what they don't talk about. It came from keeping your head up when all you wanted to do was disappear. It came from healing alone, without an audience, without applause, without a support system. Just you versus everything trying to eat you alive. They thought the silence meant weakness. You were just reloading. And now that you've come back sharper, calmer, cleaner in your intent, you're too much for people who only know how to connect through drama and wounds. You became whole in a world that profits off brokenness. You became grounded in a space where people treat identity like a costume. You became dangerous because you're no longer emotionally blackmailable. You don't need revenge. You became it. Every step you take in peace is an earthquake for the people who hoped you'd stay in pieces. Every success you stack in silence hits louder than any clapback you could have thrown. Every time you ignore the bait, the shade, the sub, the sneak diss, you remind them that they're still stuck in a game you left a long time ago. You don't flex. You exist. And that's the whole problem. You're not trying to prove anything. You are the proof of what happens when someone stops waiting to be chosen, of what happens when someone turns pain into power and doesn't send out a press release, of what happens when someone walks away and the whole ecosystem built on their pain collapses in their absence. And the craziest part? You never even clapped back. You never exposed the receipts, never aired the dirty screenshots, never went live with the full story. You had every reason to burn bridges, and you chose to light yourself instead. Not to destroy, but to illuminate. You let the truth sit in silence and watched it rot their narratives from the inside out. You became the ghost they can't stop chasing. The presence they feel in every room even when you're not there. They check your page before bed, hoping for a sign that you're slipping, and wake up disappointed every damn time. You're still standing, still unbothered, still moving like their betrayal didn't even slow you down, because it didn't. They handed you chaos, and you made strategy. They handed you silence, and you learned how to speak without words. They handed you isolation, and you built discipline. And now, every version of them that thought you'd crumble has to sit and watch you walk around glowing like you swallowed every breakdown and turned it into fuel. You're not bitter, you're bulletproof. They tried to assassinate your character with whispers, and you responded with results. They tried to turn your name into a warning, and all they did was give it more weight. You're not trying to be liked anymore. You're too busy being undeniable. And that kind of power shakes people. You walked through the fire and didn't lose your softness, just your tolerance. You kept your heart, but raised the entry fee. You're done explaining yourself to people who fumble your presence, then act confused when you vanish like a storm that gave too many warnings. You were never the villain. You were the mirror, the one that showed them everything they didn't want to fix. And it's funny, because they act like they don't care, like they're over it, like they're thriving. But every little thing you do, they see it, feel it, obsess over it. You post a win, and it hits them in the gut like a memory of what they could have had access to if they hadn't fumbled the blueprint. If they hadn't treated you like you were replaceable when you were the whole foundation. Welcome, my beautifully broken souls. The ones they laughed at, mocked, ignored, the ones who smiled through humiliation, and quietly built something they can't touch. Yeah, you. You're exactly who this message is for. Let's talk about clowns and karma, shall we? They saw you as entertainment, not a person, not a soul. Just something funny, a distraction, a circus act they could control. You showed up with love, with loyalty, with honesty. And they showed up with masks, games, and knives. They didn't invite you into the circle. No. They threw you into the pit. And when you started climbing, they kicked dirt in your face, pulled your strings like you were some kind of marionette, laughing as you danced to survive. You were the punchline, the one they called too nice, too emotional, too trusting, too easy. Ha. But what they didn't realize was that behind that soft voice, behind those tired eyes, behind that broken smile, was a storm learning how to hold its thunder. You see, when they called you a clown, they didn't realize you were studying the whole damn circus. When they used you for the show, they didn't know you were memorizing every trick, every exit, every weapon hidden in the act. You weren't weak, you were patient. And that patience, that's what makes karma so devastating. Now look around. Who's the one laughing? Who's the one pulling strings? Who's center stage now? Them? Nah, it's you. Because now you're the ringmaster. You control the spotlight. You control the stage. You decide who gets in and who gets buried beneath it. They tried to make you feel small, so you went silent. They tried to humiliate you, so you observed. They wanted you to react, to explode, to break. But you did something far more terrifying. You transformed. You turned the pain into power, the betrayal into blueprint, the isolation into innovation. And now you're not a clown. You're the damn architect of the whole circus. Funny, ain't it? How quick people switch when the tables turn, when the clown starts building empires, when the fool becomes the phantom haunting every mistake they ever made. They whisper now. Oh yeah, they whisper. They changed. They're different now. They acting brand new. No, you just finally took off the red nose they glued to your face. You stopped performing. You stopped begging to be seen. You stopped explaining your worth to people who fed off your silence. You became the ringmaster of their karma. Because now, when their lives start falling apart, when they trip over the lies they once told about you, when the people they gossiped with start gossiping about them, they'll look up in shock and see you, standing tall, arms folded, no hate, no revenge, just cold, unshakable peace. And that's what kills them. See, revenge is loud, but growth is surgical. Your glow up, it's the scalpel that cuts through their ego. Every success, a slice. Every win, a wound. Every time your name gets mentioned in rooms they'll never enter. That's karma, with a front row seat. And what makes it so poetic is that you didn't have to lift a single vengeful finger. You just stopped playing small. Remember this, they fed off your innocence. They laughed at your loyalty. They clowned your pain. They tried to break you in private. But now, you're breaking generational curses in public. Your silence became a strategy. Your hurt became your heat. And the same people who used to play you, they're now players in a game they can't even understand. A game you designed. So here's to the clown they underestimated, who became the beast they can't outrun. Here's to the one who was laughed at, but now makes them choke on every joke they ever made. Here's to you, the ringmaster of karma, the one who burned the circus to the ground and built a kingdom from the ashes. And guess what? The show's just getting started. You know what's funny? They never thought you'd survive. They thought you'd break quietly, cry in the corner like a child, beg for closure, apologize for their betrayal. They thought you'd be so desperate to be loved. You'd let them spit in your soul and call it affection. But instead of breaking, you turned cold. You went silent. And in that silence, you found something dangerous. Clarity. You saw it all, didn't you? The smirks, the backhanded comments, the fake concern, the whispers, the way they linked arms with your enemies and smiled in your face like nothing ever happened. They used your love like a leash. And when you started to pull away, they acted like you were the villain. Well, guess what? Now you are. But not their version of the villain. Not some reckless, petty cartoon bad guy. You're the villain with rules, with vision, with scars that turned into armor. You're the villain they created, the one who remembers everything but speaks nothing. And that silence? Oh, that's what haunts them now. Because now, they don't know how close they are to destruction. They don't know what you know. They don't know how many doors you've opened, how many allies you've made, how far you've come in the dark. They think the game's still going. They have no idea they already lost. You want to know when the power shifted? It wasn't when you got revenge. It wasn't when you finally snapped. It was when you saw the truth and didn't flinch, didn't beg, didn't explain, didn't warn him. You just let the blade of reality do the bleeding. Because see, karma doesn't knock. It shows up uninvited, sits at the table they laughed at you from, and starts eating off their plate. And now that clown act they put you through, it's their costume now. You ever seen a narcissist fall? It's messy, it's loud, it's ugly. They scream about how you changed, how you used to be so nice, how you're acting distant. No, sweetheart, you stopped being their circus act. You stopped performing. You stopped begging to be chosen. You stopped smiling at people who were sharpening blades behind their backs. And now they feel that emptiness, the one you used to carry. Now they're dancing for approval. Now they're scrambling for attention. Now they're living inside the same silence they tried to drown you in. And you're not angry anymore. You're focused because you don't care about getting even. Nah, you're too busy getting ahead. You let karma do the killing. You just bury what's left. So when they come crawling back, talking about, I miss the old you, remind them, the old me? You threw that one to the wolves, and the wolves taught me how to run the forest. Now I don't walk in rooms looking for validation. I walk in and shift the temperature. I don't explain myself to liars. I just smile and watch them panic under the weight of their own games. See, being used for clown shit, that was the training arc. That was the fire. That was the poison that became your immunity. Now you're not the joke. You're the lesson. You're the mirror. You're the damn show. And the best part? They can't stop watching because deep down, they know what's coming. They know what they did. They know you were the real one the whole time. And now it's too late to fix it. Too late to apologize. Too late to undo the damage. Because the ringmaster doesn't play favorites. The show must go on, but not everyone gets a ticket. You want to know what's worse than guilt? Exposure. Not public exposure. Not fame. I mean that silent, paralyzing exposure. The kind where someone sees you. Not who you pretend to be. Not the mask. Not the act. but the real you. And that's what you became to them. Their mirror, their karma, their reckoning. You see, when they used you for clown shit, it wasn't just disrespect. It was projection. They needed you to be smaller, dumber, softer. Because if you were anything more, they'd have to face what they weren't. But now you're undeniable. Now you're successful. Now you're dangerous. Because you saw the monster behind their fake smiles. And you survived it. And that ruins people like them. They're spiraling now, not because you hurt them, but because you're not broken. You were supposed to fall apart, supposed to call them, text them, chase closure, beg like a lost little puppy. But instead, you vanished, you evolved, you turned cold. And when people like that lose access to your energy, they lose access to their illusion of control. That's when the unraveling begins. Now they wake up angry for no reason, snapping at everyone around them, pretending to be unbothered but checking your life like it's the morning news, talking about peace online, but haunted by your silence at night. Your name, it echoes. Your wins, they sting. Your glow up. It ain't just shining. It's blinding, because every success of yours is a reminder of what they'll never be. They whisper now. Why are they doing so well? I didn't even think they were that smart. They must be faking it. They must be lucky. Nah, you're not lucky. You're liberated. You finally stopped carrying people who were quietly hoping you'd fail. You cut the cords. You snapped the leash. And you watched them choke on the air they thought they owned. But let's go deeper, shall we? Because here's what they'll never tell you. They're not just mad. They're not just jealous. They're terrified. Terrified that you'll tell the truth, that you'll expose the lies, that you'll reveal the masks, that people will see them the way you saw them. And the most brutal part? You don't even care to. You don't need to expose them. They're doing that to themselves. Every fake smile they force now. Every lie they tell to protect their image. Every time your name pops up and they flinch inside. That's karma. And she's not done yet. Because see, karma doesn't just punish. It rewrites the entire narrative. One minute they're the puppet master, the manipulator, the adored one. The next minute, they're just a ghost in a story they can't control anymore. Meanwhile, you're thriving without them, laughing without them, living without them. And that silence, it's eating them alive. You are now the villain in their head, the one who got away, the one who doesn't need closure, the one who saw them, smiled, and walked away like they never mattered. And that's what drives them insane. Because to someone who feeds off power, being forgotten is worse than being hated. So keep rising, keep shining, keep building. Let them drown in the silence. Let them choke on the lies. Let them spiral, while you soar above the circus they tried to keep you trapped in. Because you're not part of the show anymore. You own it. And they're just background noise in a legacy that no longer includes them. Oh, you ever watch someone try to become the person they destroyed? It's beautifully pathetic. Because after all the lies, after all the clown games, after all the fake love, they look up and realize you became everything they pretended to be. And now, they try to mimic the very essence they tried to erase. They're watching your moves like addicts. They're stalking your page, reposting the same quotes you used to say, wearing the clothes you used to rock, talking like you, acting healed, acting spiritual, acting like they suddenly discovered self-worth. But it's your blueprint, your language, your energy. They bled you dry. And now they're injecting your aura like a drug, hoping it brings them the same power. It doesn't. It won't. It can't. Because the part they missed. Your glow wasn't for show. It was born in isolation. It was forged in betrayal. It was built in the belly of heartbreak they ran from. They didn't want your healing journey. They just want the results. They don't want the pain. They just want the image. So now they walk around in a costume, a mask that almost looks like you. But something's off. Too loud, too fake, too forced, because you can't steal someone's soul and expect it to fit you. You can wear the crown, but the throne will spit you out. And now, here's the most brutal part. They're trying to be you in front of people who knew the truth. So when they start posting all that healing energy and leveling up talk, the people watching are whispering, "Isn't that what they laughed at before? Weren't they dragging her when she was down? Didn't they call him a joke for this exact thing?" Yeah. Now the truth is leaking through their smile. Now your name haunts their brand. Now your style is a costume they wear. But it doesn't fit right. It never will. Because they didn't go through the fire. They ran from it, mocked you. And now that same fire, it's consuming them from the inside. You were built in darkness. They were born in performance. You speak from scars. They speak from scripts. That's why they'll never win. They may get attention, but not respect. They may get claps, but not connection. They may wear your language, but they'll choke on the dialect. Because when real pain meets fake power, the lie always cracks. They thought you were soft. They thought you were broken. They thought you were a joke to recycle. But now, they're the parody. They're stuck in a cycle of trying to outshine someone they can't even understand, trying to become a force they once mocked, trying to live in the energy they tried to bury. But here's the twist. You don't even care. You're not competing. You're not watching. You're not posting subliminals. You've moved so far beyond the circus, you forgot it even existed. And that's what drives them insane. Because now, they're not just haunted by what they did. They're haunted by who you became, despite it. And no matter how much they copy, how much they fake, how much they rebrand, they will never be you. Because you weren't made to impress. You were built to outlast. See, the thing about playing with real ones, about using genuine hearts like disposable toys, is that when the mask falls off, you're not left with power. You're left with an empty stage, and the spotlight burns when the crowd walks away. And now, that's exactly what's happening. They're unraveling right in front of everyone. You don't even have to lift a finger. They're losing friends, losing relationships, losing jobs, burning bridges they thought were permanent, saying the wrong things, lashing out, exposing themselves in broad daylight. And the best part, they still blame you, in secret, in silence, in group chats, in therapy rooms, in drunk texts they'll never send. Because the one thing they can't say out loud is, I destroyed someone who would have died for me, and now I'm dying without them. They called you the clown. They said you were soft, too emotional, too naive, too extra. But now, they're the ones spiraling, overthinking, overdrinking, stuck in their head, stuck in their past, stuck in a cycle they swore they were above. Because when you treat good people bad, you don't just lose them, you lose the version of yourself that they kept alive. And without you there, they rot. See, you were their light, even when they were casting shadows. You gave them grace, and they gave you war. You offered peace, and they handed you chaos. And now that peace is gone. The chaos is all they know. They miss your presence, your support, your silence, your loyalty, but they'll never admit it, because to admit that is to admit they fumbled someone irreplaceable, and that is a pill their ego refuses to swallow. So instead they pretend they're unbothered, pretend they're at peace, pretend they don't care. But if you listen closely, you'll hear it in the cracks between their words. The panic. Because here's the truth, they're haunted now, not by what they did, but by what you didn't do. You didn't beg, you didn't break, you didn't snap. You just disappeared and became everything they said you'd never be. Now that is a haunting they'll never recover from. They try to rebuild now, try to form new friendships, new lovers, new networks. But there's a problem. No one sees them the way you did. No one tolerates them the way you did. No one loves them through the lies the way you did. So what happens? They sabotage it all, because deep down, they know they don't deserve peace. And that is the prison they live in now. I had someone real, and I ruined it for likes, ego, and fake clout. Now when they laugh, it's hollow. Now when they party, it's desperate. Now when they post, it's begging. They used to use you for clown shit. Now they're the circus, but this time, there's no audience left. And you're not watching, you're not clapping, you're not checking up, you're not wishing them well. You're building silently, deadly, unreachable, because you're no longer a player in their collapse. You're the blueprint they wish they'd respected. They used you like you were nothing, like your love was cheap, like your loyalty was disposable. They twisted your kindness into weakness, turned your devotion into a joke, and now they don't get to be part of the ending, because this ain't revenge, sweetheart. This is ascension. This is the final form. This is what happens when the clown becomes the goddamn architect of fate. You don't talk about them anymore, not out of peace, but because they're irrelevant. They're not your villain, not your lesson, not your past. They're a glitch, an error in your story that got deleted during your upgrade. And the most brutal part, you erased them without saying a word. You see, some people don't deserve closure. They don't deserve access. They don't deserve witnessing the greatness they tried to crush. So what did you do? You vanished. You glowed up in silence. You rebuilt in shadows. And now you walk in rooms they fantasize about, with people they'll never meet, saying things they could never understand. You became untouchable, not rich, not loud, not flashy, but unreachable, emotionally, spiritually, energetically. You're no longer the clown. You're the ringmaster. You're the CEO of their karma. You're the gatekeeper of your own galaxy and their name, not even allowed in the atmosphere. And now they feel it. They feel the absence, the silence, the punishment of your non-response, the agony of being erased without ceremony. No fight, no closure, no final word, just one long, echoing void. You were the sun in their sky, and now they can't even buy a flashlight. You became the version of yourself they prayed would never exist. Confident, unapologetic, sharp, dead-eyed, peaceful. The kind of peace that scares people, because they know you'll never let them close again. Not because you hate them, but because you outgrew the floor they left you bleeding on. So here we are, final act, final truth, final shot. They used you for clown shot. Now they live inside a nightmare where you own the circus, you choose the players, you write the script, and they're just a rumor, spoken in whispers, by ghosts, in rooms they'll never see again. And the scariest part, you never looked back.